Mhm.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
That's good.
We're closing in on month end here in May. Well, let's start with some news. Anybody excited?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Well, you were the first. Let's hear from you, Michelle.
Okay, so I got a new guy coming on board with a demo pack and a QE pack and all that jazz. So he's pretty pumped up. And in fact, it's an old consultant that never really got it. But we're going back over a year and a half ago. So I'm encouraging all of you to stay connected from the heart with your friends, because I had nothing to do with him coming on board. Mike, you and I talked to him on Friday or Thursday, I forget when. And you know what? It's like life. Life is just tough for everybody out there. So when they find a caring heart and you're not alone, it works. And I would appreciate, how many are we? 4, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 of us here?
11.
This is, okay, so I'm on my second month. I'm going for 3 QEs plus this month. I've got 7 in the loop. If you guys could all help out right now to get the other 2 plus in the positive thinking, because I know the power of that, I would really appreciate that. And I wasn't there last week, but I did listen to the call, and I'm all on board with that thinking, and it's all about the mindset. And my creation of what I'm doing is not about a one-stop shop. It's about this, and it's creating a firestorm. So I want you guys all to be on board with that for yourself. And if I can be the lead for everybody, I'm in.
You bring up an interesting point, Michelle. As you all know, I was in Nice at a leadership event recently, and one of the things that Wolfgang brought up was his Royal Ambassador run, his Royal Diamond / Royal Ambassador run. And what had happened was he had his frontline team in place, and they as a team made a decision that everyone would go Diamond. There were 5 of them. And that, of course, would qualify him as a Royal Diamond. But what they decided was who was going to go first, who was going to go second. This is true. Who was going to go first, who was going to go second, and so on. And as a result of that commitment, what they did was, listen to this, if this is not powerful, if this is not the law applied, they would think every single day at 12 o'clock noon, they would all think, no matter where they were, they would all think about that one person hitting Diamond at 12 o'clock noon. And then that person went, and then the next person, and so forth. So they were using the power of not only positive thinking, but they were mentalizing, imagining as a collective at the same time even of the person they're focused on helping to go Diamond. So I think that's such a cool thing. Something we can look at and concentrate here. So Michelle's asked for some support on the idea of him getting those 3 QEs off the runway here this month. So think those out.
Yeah, and by the way, I want to add something, because one of my 3 last month is in the running right now. So we're doing the whole planning right now.
Well, that's another interesting point you're bringing up. Then 1 in those 3,
1/3, baby.
Yep. 1/3, and you know what? I don't have a problem with the numbers. Some people think, oh, geez, that's such a lousy number, but not really. When you know what the numbers are, and there's 7 billion people on the planet, then you can't lose. You can't lose. So,
by the way, let's be real. In marketing world, like in terms of like promotion, marketing, you put an ad out, the percentage is like less than 1%, guys.
Yeah, well, if you guys receive, like I do, a bunch of stuff in the mail that you have to throw out every day, flyers and promote, color brochures and stuff, they're spending whatever they're spending to send this swath of information, spam mail. And the hit rate on spam mail, are you ready for this one? 1 in 10,000. So that's what they're looking at when they're sending out that spam mail. Jacqueline, you had your hand up.
Yes.
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 What's happening?
I just signed my 3rd senior.
All right.
Tonight, just 10 minutes before. It's done. And not only that, we are in the process of signing a doctor in Mexico. And while we were in April for his birthday between the 11th and the 18th, we've met few people and so on. And some of the people are registering just to buy some products. But one sent us her uncle as a doctor information. She said, my uncle would like your product. So what we did, we sent the 3 videos to him. You know the 3 videos?
Yeah.
Okay, to watch. And right away he sent an email back last week, and he said, I am fully interested. I want to become a consultant. I'm already sending this to my clients, my patient, and everybody is asking for it. So we were in a conference. We arranged a conference Skype this morning, and we spoke for an hour on the phone, and already he's sending also other information and so on, and how to register and all of that, because it's a little bit more complicated over there. And he is so enthusiastic. We have another conference. He's going to make all kinds of his questions written down. And we're having another meeting, conference, Skype meeting next Monday at noon our time, 11 o'clock his time. So it's going faster than we were expected. And to come back, I'm a highly spiritual person. And when Michelle, you're saying, just concentrate. Well, me is when you make a decision of doing something, signing a contract and going, you don't even have to go and pick the people. People come to you. And so far, all the presentation that we did, we were successful. Nobody said no. Either they became a consultant or they purchased product. It is so easy to do when you decide to do it and you go for it, and it comes from all different places, and you just ask and it comes.
That's awesome. You know what? 100%. And a lot of the work that I did with the group in Nice about the law of attraction talked about how to accelerate. How do we accelerate this process of attraction? How do we make things happen faster for ourselves? And the answer was correct. The answer was, we talked about this last week, intensity, the intensity of the intention. And so how do we know the intensity of the intention? It's based on whether the decision is a real decision or not. We got a bunch of people who are not on this call tonight and weren't on the call last week and pretty much have bailed on their commitment. You know, I find that unfortunate, but then I'm a Royal Diamond and I get that too, just so you know. It happens to all of us. But the bottom line is, what did they fail to do? They didn't fail me. They failed themselves. They failed to keep their word. Their word, it doesn't mean anything. And that's the thing. When we talked about Paul, the work of the 4 agreements, and why I was so insistent on everybody picking that book up, is because it really helps to put life into perspective in 4 simple agreements that we make to ourselves. One of which is keep your word. When you say something, mean it. And when you mean it, say it. You know, so it's just a simple rule. And that's something I remember so long ago. I used to think when I was building my Nikan business, are you somebody who means what you say and says what you mean? Or says what you mean and means what you say? So very important golden rule. Anyway, anyone else want to share before we move on? Yes, Connie.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited because Danielle, Marielle, and I are doing 321 clubs this coming month. And we missed out on this month, the extra bonus, darn. Anyhow, we're going to really, really work. We've been working hard on it for quite a while now. And I have 2 QEs. I'm really excited about that too. So it's going very, very well. It took a while to get there, and I could feel the acceleration, and it's coming more and more. Very, very happy. Very
good. Very, very good. Anyone else? Okay, today's call doesn't have to go an hour. It's really about rhythm, okay? And I brought this up because I was in touch with Wolfgang, and he informed me what he wants me to cover at the event in Germany this coming weekend. And by the way, next Monday, I'm flying back, but there'll still be a call. I should be back in time for that call, so next Monday. And if I seem dead tired, you'll understand why. It would have been a very action-packed weekend, I'm sure. I'm having dinner with our CEO, Kurt Foley, in Germany on Friday, so wish me well. Anyway, the one thing that Wolfgang always asks me to speak about at these large gatherings is the rhythm of the business. For him, it's such an important thing. And I can tell you why, and I'm pretty sure somewhere in these conferences I've shared that information with you, but just to go back, he came to Toronto one time and met with me here in Kleinburg, and we had lunch at the doctor's house. And he was doing a tour of Royal Diamonds, prominent and successful Royal Diamonds, a handful, but he wanted to extract from them their golden rules. And when he came to Kleinburg and we sat down, I taught him everything I knew about the rhythm of the business, the whole concept, the grid, everything. He took copious notes. And about 2 years later, by the way, he hit Royal Ambassador and invited me to speak at one of his events in Germany. And when I got there, he shared with me what he wanted me to share, the rhythm of the business, of course. And then he also presented me with the acetate overheads, because I didn't have any formal presentation material with me. And he said, just a second, and he went and got it and brought it to me. And on the presentation material was my name. So he learned two very valuable lessons, I thought. One was the concept of the rhythm, and two, the idea of leverage. That he did not make himself the expert. He acknowledged me as the person who he gleaned this information from, so that when he was teaching it to his group and his team, it wasn't about him. It wasn't about his way of doing things. It was about what he had learned. So he had, from afar, the experts from afar, he was leveraging all the way. Very, very powerful. But what he was leveraging was this thing called the rhythm of the business. And of course, he's asked me to do it again several times, and now I'm doing it again this weekend. So I thought this is probably something I will share with the group, and I'll do it on a smaller scale than what I'm doing there. But the idea of this rhythm, Michelle's talked about it a little bit, and Jacqueline, I think you were just talking about it in certain terms. What we're talking about here is a consistency. When there's a consistency of behavior, and if you know the presentation U 2.0, that we're working on, myself, Igor, and Rick, the whole concept of the U 2.0 is the idea of compounding, that it's these daily things that we do that compound, that lead to these major changes in our life. And there's nothing more profound than this concept, I believe, in this business. It's not about doing a whole lot. It's about doing a consistent in a short. Better if we can shorten the span of time, but the idea is the consistency. If there's inconsistency in the rhythm, it interrupts the rhythm, and it's hard to get things back on track. You lose your flow, you lose your momentum, you lose the feel and the vibe that you got sort of swept up in. But when you got that rhythm going, things just sort of become supernatural. You get swept up in the rhythm, and things start to happen almost inadvertently. You find yourself dealing with situations that are very positive and proactive based on your intention and your alignment of thought. I just want to share with you this idea here of, let me just get my sharing tool out here. Let's share. How do we share? Gosh, here we go, screen share. All right. You should be able to see that now. And I'm going to go into PowerPoint.
Hey, that's nice, Mike.
Okay, cool. This is an old slide. You want some? Anyway, rhythm of the business, ABC support structure for advancing leadership. This is a higher view, but I want to give you some really simple fundamentals here. Take a look at this. Let's say this is a swimming pool. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say that we were sitting on the diving board of the swimming pool looking at the water, and the water's nice and calm and very smooth and flat. And then surrounding the swimming pool, we have our team, members of our organization. This could be this group here, the Team Kaizen Royal, Royal Alliance, yeah, it could be. Team Kaizen roundtable here.
I like Royal Ambassador better.
Royal Ambassador, okay. So here's our members, and we're going to give each of these members an idea. That idea could be an action. It could be a thought. These individual people could also be the voices in our head, the sub-personalities, as Wolfgang calls them. We all have them. You know, those voices in our head that are either working with us or working against us. So there's an idea, and that idea is that rock that, let's say they're holding a big boulder in their hand. And so we're sitting here on the diving board, the observer, and we say, hey, everybody, I want you to throw your idea into the mix. I want you to throw your idea into the pond, into the pool. I want you to cast your idea, cast your energy into the pool. And so randomly, our thoughts, our ideas, our co-collaborators, our teammates, whatever, start throwing these random thoughts into the pool. And what do we see? We see splashing on top of splashing, on top of splashing, on top of splashing. Essentially, we see chaos. The observer sitting on that diving board, all they see on the surface is just waves splashing into waves into waves. It's random and it's chaotic. And that is the nature of reality when we don't have coherent thoughts, when we don't have consistent thoughts, when we don't have consistent behavior. It just becomes very, very random. Now, let's change for a second and think the observer is God. Or let's be even more universal in thought. The observer is the universe. And the universe, which knows no up, no down, no left, no right, it just observes. It observes the intention that's coming at it, which is at this point in time very random. And so what will it mirror back? What will it reflect back? It'll reflect back the chaos. And so what we have in our life, what we have in our experience, what we have in our business is just this random chaos. Nothing seems to have momentum. We can't seem to get momentum going because there's no consistency. There's just a lot of random activity, but it doesn't actually have consistency or rhythm. Now, it takes energy to cast those thoughts. It takes energy to do the things that we do. So let's reset the table here. And I'm just going to skip ahead here. So here we're back at the pool. The water's calm. Everybody has their ideas in their hands. This could be our upline, or excuse me, our cross line. Everybody working together here. Now, instead of telling everybody, I want you to just throw your rocks, we're going to align the activity. We're going to say, okay, on the count of 3, the observer, like a conductor in an orchestra, is going to say, on the count of 3, I want you to throw those rocks. But I want you to focus not on throwing the rocks only when I say so. I want you to focus on throwing them in the middle of the pool. On the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And they all throw the rocks, and watch what happens. It's like a giant boulder hits the center of the pool, and this giant wave emerges, and we see the observer sees the wave very, very clearly, the epicenter and the wave as it expands out from the center of the pool. All that's been created because of timing. Somebody said, on the count of 3, I want you to throw your rock in the middle of the pool. So with a bit of focused thought, where are we doing this? And on the count of 3, timing, we have this incredible outcome, something that's very viewable, very visible from the observer's point of view. So if this is the universe, if this is the idea of the law of intention being made manifest, the idea of increasing intensity so that the universe can respond and reflect back the results that we're seeking in our life or in our business, it's really, really simple. The process is simple. We've got to create coherency, coherent thought, coherent actions and activity. And that's really, okay. So the idea then, this rhythm of the business, is really about getting our action plan in place and getting our teammates on the same action plan, getting ourselves if we're the only ones on the team at this point in time, or if we're personally prospecting, getting ourselves on this rhythm. And so in our business, the rhythm happens to be those daily activities, right? Let me just skip ahead. Again, this is a little bit advanced. This is something more visible, more obvious. Take a bridge, on the left-hand side there, or a swing. If we push the swing with a steady frequency, the amplitude of the swing is going to get higher and higher and higher and higher, right? If you interrupt the push, the timing cycle, you're gonna push against it while it's coming at you. You're gonna smack and create problems. And that is what's going on for the most part with this random activity in people's businesses. But a bridge is no different. It's a structure and it has its own natural rhythm. In fact, if the wind hits the rhythm of the bridge, the natural resonant frequency of the bridge, what's going to happen to that bridge? See this one bending, a bridge. In fact, it can actually collapse if it keeps going because the amplitude, it builds to the point where the structure can't even hold itself together again. Well, in the case of our business, this is a good thought. What we want to do is we want to create a rhythm that is natural to our business, that if we hit the right rhythm and we keep the rhythm going, it's going to multiply and expand and create this huge wave and this huge amplitude and results. And so this goes right back to the concept of our business, and it's daily rhythms leading to the weekly rhythms, leading to the monthly rhythms. So if you're not operating some kind of rhythm, then there is no rhythm. And if there is no rhythm, then you're clearly not creating that coherent energy that's going to produce the kind of results that you're looking for. So with respect to contacting and inviting, that should be a daily occurrence. There should be new people contacted regardless of who's already in the process. That's a rhythm in its own right. It's a rhythm. The daily contact and invite is a rhythm. And if you interrupt that rhythm, it's going to have an effect. And it may not be immediate, but you may notice it next week, 2 weeks from now, or next month when I don't have anybody in the pipeline. I don't have anything going. It's creating that constant rhythm. And I'm not talking about just for yourselves. I'm talking about for everyone in your group as well. So if you've got somebody new, the one thing that you want to make sure is that there's a rhythm established with that person. The best way to choreograph that is to create a calendar so that you and they are on the same rhythm. And that way you can coordinate your efforts so that you can meet with regularity. A simple example of that rhythm is this meeting. And the reason why, no matter what, I fly back, I want to do the meeting because I don't want to interrupt the rhythm of our meeting, of our having these conversations, of renewing, just seeing each other and renewing our commitment to what we're doing together as a team on the Team Kaizen Roundtable. So what other rhythms are there in the business that could fortify your business and grow the amplitude and the size of your organization? What other rhythms other than those daily contacts?
Well, once you have a contact, Michael, you could set up a rhythm in terms of how much time you decide it's going to take for the process. So that's part of that rhythm. So you could do it all in one swoop. You could bring people through a different, level of steps and so on, as long as it's within that 1 week that we.
Well, let's break that down. Let's break the process down because essentially what we're doing is getting people we're contacting people, getting them interested to be presented to, getting them past the presentation into the follow-up stage where they're looking at this as a business or as a consultant, or customer, and then moving them onto the launch path, onto the launch pad, where we could initiate action in terms of preparation and then actual activity for a Business 21 Club. I hope by now, by the way, have you guys all seen, I'm not sure if I think I posted it today as an email. Have you all seen the Business 21 Club or the incentive, what's it called? Show Me the Money by Ben?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so what's really good about that is he's showing us all the various incentives that are put in place right now to really back up and support a 21 club. If you're doing a 21 club, you're going to maximize all those bonuses. So a person can get a really serious check by doing the things that we want to encourage them to do. So it places a real great emphasis on why the 21 club is an excellent way to launch somebody in the business. It creates focused activity. It creates that constant daily contact and invite, but it also creates a funnel. We have to meet these people. We have to visit with them, present to them. So there's a stage where there's a presentation. And if you're doing a 21 club, pretty good chance it's not going to happen in one meeting. So there's going to be more than one meeting. So that could be the follow-up meeting, right? So there's the contact and invite, then there's the meeting, the presentation. So what's the rhythm of that? Is it 1 a week? Is it 2 a week? Is it 3 a week? Are you launching one person, 2 people, 3 people? Are you doing them each separately? Or are you doing them together? You can establish this by creating a calendar for yourself and saying, here's the time that I have available to do this. And I'll give an example of this. And this is a couple I mean to interview. I haven't done that yet, but there's a couple that's actually gone gold in Nikken, building Nikken, husband and wife couple, building Nikken one night a week. That's all they have to dedicate to their business because of their other business and their other commitments. But with that one night a week, with regularity, it never breaks. That Wednesday night is their night. So with that one night a week, they're able to take their actions of the week, which is contacting, inviting, funneling them into that one meeting night. And I'm sure in that one meeting night, they're accomplishing quite a bit and teeing up the next meeting night and doing whatever follow-up they can by phone. But that one night is the night where they actually dedicate their time, their physical bodies, and are present in an environment to do the one-on-one in the meetings. So I'm sure there's more than one guest at a time in their home when they're doing that. They're choreographing that funnel so that it all leads to that one night. They're not saying Tuesday night is available, Thursday night is available, because for them it's not. So they're just telling them, this is the night. If you're interested, this is the place, this is the time. Give us an RSVP. So you can design the rhythm. And I've been trying to encourage that in earlier sessions when we talked about the calendar of events, starting with your own, because then what you can do is merge others into your calendar. If you have to add a second day to accommodate the needs of somebody else, then do that. I know when I first launched my business, I knew that I needed to process a lot of people in a short period of time. So it wasn't enough to have one meeting a week for me. So I had a very, very aggressive schedule of meetings to make sure that there was always an opportunity to funnel people into a meeting and to funnel people from that meeting into the next meeting. So people who were guests in one meeting were coming back a second time and bringing guests of their own in the same week. That's how it created that multiplication effect. The exponential growth started to happen not in a monthly basis, but in a weekly basis, because I set the rhythm. It was me that set the rhythm, not nobody else. There was nobody else. I set the rhythm with the anticipation of there being a lot of people. And that's another interesting thing about the law of attraction. It tends to fill the cup. So if you have a small cup, you'll fill a small cup. If you have a big cup, you'll fill a big cup. It resonates with your expectations. So follow-up, what's your rhythm for follow-up? If you initiate contact with somebody, within what time frame are you following up? That should be pretty much set in your mind. And then, of course, there's that one event per month that we need to round it all up. We did not have a mid-month event. We did not have a month-end event this month. Yet here we are in the last week of the month trying to get it together. So for the absence of such a formal event, I hope you're, and if you're not, let me know. you're aware of online events that other consultants are doing. People like Rick Murphy, Dave Johnson, they have a routine. They have a weekly schedule I've been publishing. You guys, you're familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maggie, you just joined us a little bit late. We're talking about the rhythm of the business, the daily that leads to the weekly, et cetera, kind of activities that without rhythm, there's just no way to create flow and movement and momentum and growth. And so let's pause for a second. And anybody has some comments about this subject for the benefit of the playback, just for the benefit of each other. Any thoughts about this? What are you doing to establish a rhythm in your business so that your business, let me give another example of a rhythm. Let's say you have a flower shop and you open the flower shop on Monday morning at 9. Tuesday, you open the flower shop at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Wednesday, you don't open the flower shop at all. Thursday, you decide to open it at 7:30 in the morning and close it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, people are not going to understand your business. They're not going to know if they can trust when they should come. It's just going to be very hard for you to run a business, a legitimate business, when it's so random.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to add something, Mike, because part of the rhythm is the follow-up. And you keep hearing it from everyone that has had any success in this business. The follow-up component, I think, is something that we don't share enough of, because it is the most important component to our business to achieve success. It's that connection that makes the person say, yes, I'm ready. And, you know, we go through the rhythm of introducing and, you know, having that conversation, introducing the person through the process, and then they make a decision, but they don't make a decision. You need to follow up constantly afterwards until they make that decision. And that's something that I've come to realize, is that people have a life and they get the information, they get all that information, and it builds. It's like a pot of boiling water that boils, and it comes to a boiling point, and then they have this information in their mind and part of their mind, and then they have their life in their mind. And then stuff happens, and you know what I'm talking about. Stuff just happens. And then all of a sudden, that pot that we've been boiling all these great ideas takes over from their life, and they then make a decision. And if you don't follow up with people and you assume that you're hounding them, and I would highly recommend that you do not do that. I've got a lot of people in that loop right now, and it's about touching base with them and keeping them warm, because at one point they're going to pop. They're going to pop. They're all going to pop. I know that.
Let me add to that, Michelle, because one of the things that I am not being...
Let me just say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't get discouraged. It's not you. It's them. And I've trust me, you guys have no idea what I've been through in the last week and a half. It's them. It's not you. That's all. I mean, go ahead, Mike. I mean, you can add to that. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that what I'm not feeling is the value that I bring to your business as an A. Part of that follow-up ought to be an automatic introduction to me. I mean, that should be part of your process. I know that we don't formally, in the zigzag diagram, I don't formally show, here's where you do an ABC. But if I was going to formally show, here's where you do an ABC, where do you think I would show it?
Can I say?
Wait. Give somebody a chance.
All right.
Anyone?
You show it here at our Team Kaizen.
Where would I, in the process of cooking a noodle, if I said, okay, we're going to do an ABC, we want to make sure that you do it as part of the process, where would I be sure to make sure I've got an ABC in that?
Very close to.
Go ahead, Maggie.
as many times as possible, but particularly for me, I leverage you when I've had somebody, I've got their reason, their why, they're interested, they've had a demonstration of the products and an overview of the business. But, you know, I want to lock in the vision with somebody who's more successful, and I want to show them that we have a team behind us, that it's not just me in my living room in Vancouver.
So essentially, after the meeting, or as part of the meeting.
Yeah, it's part of the meeting, yeah.
Yeah, so essentially it would be in your in-home or in your one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're actually meeting with somebody or you're meeting with people, part of that presentation ought to be an ABC. What I'm doing myself personally, I use the video, the Niken video, the 7-minute video where they actually, when we get to the end of the U 2.0 presentation and it goes the 4 check marks, we've covered this, we've covered this, we've covered this, we've covered, basically we're at the end of the presentation. Now I need to expand the vision and say, are there people really doing this? And so I play the 7-minute video from Niken, the one that I published today again, the Niken opportunity video, because on it, what's on it? Testimonies. There's all these different people talking about the various aspects of how Niken has affected their life. So in the absence of me having an A, boom, I put that on because there's 5, 6 different people all talking about the 5 pillars and how that's made a difference in their life. So that's my testimonial video. It's the next piece. But as soon as I can, I want them to have a live person to talk to and validate. So if you guys are prospecting, either you're not getting anybody to a meeting, or you're forgetting a valuable step in the rhythm, which is to leverage the upline. Introduce them to somebody who's not you, who can pretty much articulate all the things that you have in their own words through their own personal story, which is me, namely me. Namely me. It's not only me, but I should certainly be your first choice, and then you might have 2 or 3 other backups. So that process, that rhythm, the idea of introducing them to others, that has to be ingrained in your knowledge and your understanding of the process. And you will see this. You will see your numbers go through the roof that way. If you were hitting 1 in 10. You'll definitely start to do the 1 in 3 number. Any other thoughts about this concept of the rhythm? Maggie, I know you have a pretty steady hand because you're always in touch with me, telling me, here's the number of contacts. What do you say your rhythm is if you had to give us a daily, run down a list of these are the things that you can bet I'm doing every day?
Okay, contacting new people, meeting. I like the one-on-one. I meet for people with coffee after I've invited them to do so, and then at the end of that, I say to them, I highly recommend that the next step is for you to come to my wellness home to experience the products. Do you have time right now? And I had a gal today who went directly from the coffee meeting to my house. Okay, then the next step, I sent her the 7-minute video. And we were going to talk with you, but that's going to have to wait till you're back because she's got other things on the go. Okay. But so it's as quickly as possible. Contact and invite, present, 3-way, do the business presentation. Then after I do the business presentation on paper, I send them Igor Grundle's business presentation to lock it in that they can watch on their own. I also, today I met with somebody and gave them the 4-year career book. And I'm sending them the Rise of the Entrepreneur documentary because there's going to be a bit of a gap between the time we met today and the time he and his wife come to see the wellness home.
So you're saying you're using follow-up tools to keep the heat on, if you will, in the absence of time.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And then 3 ways, as many as possible. It's not just you, other people as well. And then, I think one of the key things that I've learned to do more effectively lately is ask for a decision and do that on a scale of 1 to 10. How close are you to making a decision? And, if you're a 10, what is that? And I have a gal who is I think, ready, but she doesn't. So she's coming to Humans Being More this weekend. And I know that after that, she's going to be ready to rock and roll. So I really leverage Humans Being More. I think it's one of the best prospecting tools we have.
Now, that's going to be your lock-in event.
Yes.
Now, by the way, how many you've got registered for this event in Vancouver?
38.
38 people. Awesome. So that's obviously a 2-day HBM. 38 people is a hell of a lock-in event. If you're not closing people after that, they're just not worth closing. Let's just face it. So you've got a good rhythm going, Maggie, and that's what's producing some consistency with your business. And that's the key. It's the key. The whole compounding effect is all about that rhythm, that concept of having something on the go on a continual basis. Contacting, presenting, follow-up, ABCs as part of that, decisions, and then just repeat, rinse and repeat, right?
And running in the background, the 4 agreements.
That's awesome. I'm glad you said that, because we talked about that a little bit earlier in the call, and there's some people who are not on this call who should be. The reason why their business isn't where they want it to be is because their character isn't in alignment with success. They're out of character. Success is not a I hope it comes to me. It's a decision. It's a choice. And your commitment to that is demonstrated by your commitment to yourself. Anyway, I'm showing 10:42. Like I said, we don't have to go top of the hour. So any other thoughts with respect to this concept of the rhythm, how relevant it is to establishing a rhythm for yourself, merging other people's rhythms to that so that you can create this flow, the idea of flow, and keep it moving and keep it going?
Well, I'd like to add something. So far, I don't know if it's because I've done the business before in another company, and also professionally, that was the way I was working. But so far, I didn't do Nikken for so long. And I use the law of intent, the law of attraction, and it works. And I also, for the follow-ups, every presentation that I've made so far, there's every day some contacts and presentation and 48 hours for decision. Always. It's either there's 4 in the presentation that we're using, yours, Mike, and Igor. It's there's 4 decisions there. So they have to commit to either one of them. Mm-hmm. So either they are a consultant QE, or either they are a customer. And also, I always ask some referrals. So the one from tonight, she purchased a pack. I always go for the pack. So the rhythm, I go with the same rhythm with everyone's. So it become a custom, and it's already there. So that person already is moving in the rank, because we have to think as well to have people to move up in the rank.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
And also to have to purchase the product. So the pack first, and then every month you go for the wellness home, and that's what is the most interesting. And I find it very easy to do. So, and I have so many people to contact, because everyone is giving me referrals as well. So it looks like I'm lacking some hours in the day. So I wanted to do the business for only 2 days, but now it's almost 7 days a week. So if this rhythm continue, for the end of the year, we will be Royal Diamond.
I hope so, but
or I'm burnout.
No, don't get
duplication. Remember, duplication. It's not just what you do; it's what you duplicate.
Duplication, easy kiss. I use the Xerox thing, kiss. Keep it stupid and simple, and this is working. And the first thing that I do to catch the interest is the test with the insoles. It works, because otherwise everybody, whoever titles they have, It's intellectuals. They cannot understand energy. They cannot understand that they will get out from assholes or beds or whatever the products they can have. They cannot understand that these products works. So if you don't go through the experience of it, you cannot understand it, and you will not be interested in it.
Great point. Very, very valid point. In fact,
Experience.
there's a new resurgence of the rollout being discussed in our circles. The fact that rollout has such a profound effect on people's feelings, regardless of how intellectual and how successful they are. So just food for thought about that. Also, you mentioned the idea of promotion, rank advancement. Guys, we're in the month end here. We're in the last week of the month. Here's what I'd like you to do as homework, as instruction. Check out who on your team is nearing a rank advancement or should be, and see if you can encourage that to happen one way or another, whatever it takes. Phone calls, follow-ups. Usually it's follow-ups. People, maybe some incentives that you haven't thought about yet. Do whatever you can to help somebody get a rank advancement. It means a whole lot to them when they see movement. It's like standing in line at a grocery store. If there's no movement, you will get frustrated. So let's get some movement happening. Again, because it is month end, set some targets for your volume. Most of the volume that happens in the last week of the month. And you've heard stories already on this Zoom meeting from others where you could go from 3,000 to 20,000 in PGV. If you've been sowing the seeds, it's now time to start following up and reaping the harvest of that. And don't forget, those incentives could go a long way to generate volume. The volume that you generate in this final week of the month, you're going to get paid for on the 15th in 2 weeks. So let's make it a good month. Let's make it a good month end.
Mike?
Yes.
Just a quick little aside. I was at work today and I had a gentleman come barreling in the door and straight to me, and I thought, oh my God, what have I done? He said to me, do you have any bracelets? And I said, what's up, Dave? He said, Lily lost her bracelets and I need 2 more. And I said, well, I don't have any at home, but I do have some in my cupboard at the Lion's Den, and I'll be there tomorrow night and I'll check. One of the other gals turned to me and she said, who's Lily? And I said, it's his dog. She said, what are you talking about? I said, 2 years ago, this dog was suffering terribly from allergies, and his nose was just draining all the time with not nice stuff. And I said, I attached 2 necklaces together and put it on Lily's neck, and her allergies completely cleared up, and she's not had a problem since. But as you heard tonight, Dave said she lost her bracelets. Can you get me 2? I'm desperate. I need them now. And that, I mean, they said, well, what kind of dog is it? I said, half poodle, half Shih Tzu. They couldn't believe that they worked on dogs too. But it was just the way, the intensity and the way he came in the door at my place of work. I need 2 bracelets. So he'll have them tomorrow.
That's awesome. And whoever said that magnets are not consumable?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys, have an amazing month end. And I'm catching a flight Wednesday evening. I won't be back until Monday sometime during, I believe it's evening. And I will definitely be, let me just double check here while I have you here.
Where are you off to this time, Mike?
Germany. I'm flying Germany. I get in at 7:30, so I should be no problem with me getting to our meeting in time. And if for whatever reason the flight is delayed, I'll make sure you guys know.
All right.
So
Have a great trip.
Thank you. Have a great month end, and let's change some lives, guys.
Okay.
We're on it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good
Good
night.
luck, everybody.
Everyone.